Welcome back to another video. I am gonna start doing some theme-based videos where I feature Pokemons that are typically not used very much. Today, as you can see here, we are gonna be featuring Mightyena, which I've used once or twice before ever. And I have a feeling that most of you who might watch this have maybe rarely or never seen it in GBL. And I just figured like, hey, I'll give it a chance, see how it does. It's a dark type, meaning it struggles with fighting and fairy, which are obviously scattered all over the meta currently in GBL, or at least in the Great League, that is. It has a very versatile moveset though, although it doesn't have a lot of bulk, so it's pretty squishy, but you can kind of tailor it to work in pretty much any kind of team, really. So what I wanted to do today was like, how about we do some kind of villain-based theme team? So I paired it up with stuff that you might see grunts throughout the generations of the main series have. And I figured, we could pair it up with a Alolan Mach, because Alolan Mach is pretty good. But I personally like regular Mach more. So I dumped a lot of Stardust into powering one up yesterday, because I just figured, hey, we're trying out a Pokemon that isn't the best. Like, let's try out something else that's a little bit wacky and off meta. Last spot, I figured I'd put in a Toxicroak, just to kind of deal with some of the things that they otherwise couldn't deal very well with. First of all, I started out by putting Toxicroak in the lead. And that was because that way, if we had another fighting lead, we had kind of an even matchup where we could go potentially into Mach, also depending on their swap. If we just lose Mightyena off the bat, 1, we don't feature it, 2, we kind of lose quite a bit of coverage. So, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and say I was dumb enough to not record my third battle, which was against a Shadow Abomasnow, Shadow Politoed, and Shadow Machamp, and this team actually, despite not having particularly good matchups, almost won that. I did lose, but I was like 2 fast attacks from beating the Shadow Abomasnow with Mightyena. Anyway, without further ado, I am gonna go ahead and start the videos, and let's have a look at some battles. So first up, we are gonna fight RG Dunford. We're gonna lead into a Sumeru, which in the long haul isn't the best matchup. What you generally want to do here is build up to the Sludge Bomb, and then you want to bait. I'm just gonna go straight Sludge Bomb here, because we are running Thunder Fang on the Mightyena. It's decent energy gain, and it's just super effective here. So I figured, what, let's just throw it here. He throws a move. I wanted to build to another Mud Bomb, but seeing as he is throwing a move, we're just going to shield it. Yeah, it's just an Ice Beam. It's just an Ice Beam bait, but we don't really mind it. And both Mach and Mightyena here have a pretty good matchup. So he's going to go into Swampert. And we're both down a shield, so he's probably not going to shield this first one. No, we got it through just fine. But another Dark Pulse is going to KO him. We are 1, running Poison Jab, and 2, we are running a Mach. So he's probably not counting our energy. So we're going to go for the Thunder Punch here. Thunder Punch would not KO, but we're just going to throw the bait, hoping to get the last shield here. Beautiful, and we do. Now, Mach has done its job here, and he's actually deciding to throw his energy. He could build to almost 2 Hydro Cannons if he would just have found us down, so that is very good for us. So we take Swampert in here, and I guess here I was indecisive. I could have just Mud Bombed, but I figured, hey, let's save it for whatever's in the back. That being the Azumarill here. Build up to the Sludge Bomb. So we're down a shield, but we do have the Sludge Bomb ready. Oh, right, yeah, that was my bad. That was obviously the second Pokemon. So we got a Skarmory, which is really bad for us, honestly. We have an almost dead Toxicroak. We have a Sludge Bomb stored now, but then we just have Mightyena. And I'm thinking here, if this is Brave Bird, like, we lose the game. We've just straight up lost. Mightyena is not bulky. However, people also don't really know what it's like to play against the Mightyena, I guess, seeing as people rarely, if ever, use it. But yeah, we take down the Scamry, and we have some energy now. And we get to the first Poison Fang, and it actually does a, like, Poison Fang's a bad move, but it does a decent chunk there. And he was probably almost out of move. Might want to farm us down, but we got to the Poison Fang, and we might even have killed with fast attacks. So that's a good game right there. In the second game here, we are, for once, going to have a really positive matchup. So they obviously want to get out of there. Like, I don't really have a good answer to Toxicroak here. Everything on my team is going to take super effective from either fast or charge attacks. So, hey, he doesn't shield. It's great. Good for us. And we're just going to preserve, because we know he has the Melmetal. So we're definitely shielding that and just taking switch. And they're pretty smart here, actually. They're waiting out the timer, just so that they can try to swap as soon as possible if necessary. And here we, I'm thinking, again, people don't know Mightyena really. So we could just Poison Fang bait and probably get a shield, but I'm thinking just in case they don't bother, let's just go for the crunch. This is obviously a very bad matchup right now. Bite could do a decent size of fast attack damage if you're running that, but it's pretty bad for energy. Ice Fang would also be really good here, but with Mightyena it's all about just picking whatever complements your team best. And here I know whether we can take a Hydro Cannon. And they actually swap. Yeah, you could see I was trying to go for the Thunder Punch instead because he still has a shield up. But I had already clicked the Dark Pulse. I wasn't really sure whether to bait or not there, but this is good enough for us. I didn't count, but this is either a Rock Slide or a Superpower. And it is a Superpower. So that means we can easily just farm him down, and we have enough energy now to throw him up bomb immediately. And it gets blocked, but we should be able to outpace, just barely. I think there we actually just win CMP and take him out because of that. So that was also a very close game. Well, I mean, I have a shield, maybe not that close. And then I obviously forgot to record my third game, which I barely lost. But we're going straight into game number 4 here. And here it's like from the Shadow Politoed, I know it does about half to Mightyena with Weather Ball. So I was actually surprised this did that much. But I figured, hey, let's just put on some fast attack pressure. Well, the question is, do they shield here? Because Mightyena has nothing to threaten a Stunfisk, if not Fire Fang. And they did let that go through, which was definitely the right call. And it seems like Mightyena might be able to take 2 Rock Slides in a row if it's on full health. In case you want to run one yourself. And here we are just gonna respect the Earthquake. Yeah, there's no need to waste Toxicroak on nothing to call bait. And now we are probably just gonna mod bomb spam. Mod bomb spam. That comes out funny if you say it quick. Now we're going into mock actually. So this is this is a really bad situation. If he shields this, I lose the game. But he doesn't. And I know that if he has Psycho boosts, it'll probably one-shot Muck because we're not a Alolan and we don't have that extra dark typing. But we get to... He was probably trying to double up there, I would imagine, on the Psycho. Or Psycho boost, yeah. So he could just one-shot Muck and then one-shot Toxicroak. But he decides it isn't worth it, lets it go. Now the good thing here is he's obviously building up a lot of energy, but even if he had thrown just a Weather Ball, we would definitely have survived it. And we get the last shield. Now hopefully this is just a Weather Ball. And it is, and we barely survive. And we are just gonna Mud Bomb. We are not gonna play any games, seeing as he has as much energy as he does. And we take it down. So that's this somewhat questionable team has actually taken down 3 fairly meta teams, I'd say. So that's a pleasant surprise. But going into game number 4 here, we get a pretty neutral matchup. And we're just gonna go straight Mud Bomb, doing super effective damage. I guess I was expecting to actually get a shield here, but I was also expecting for it to actually deal more damage, so that was a really good play by the opponent, just opting not to. And I'm thinking, like, we don't know what's in the back. Let's preserve it. And here I made the first questionable decision. We could maybe just have Mud Bomb spammed and done just fine. 2 of my Pokemons here actually resist Victory Ball, but even though Muck does neutral and resists the damage, you can see it is just very oppressive. Muck doesn't deal much damage, and despite being like relatively bulky, Razor Leaf still just shreds it. So now I am thinking, what do I do here? We have Thunder Fang, so let's save Mightyena for whatever's in the back. Might be an Azumarill or something. We are just gonna... I'm pretty sure that Leaf Blade would KO from this range, even though we resisted. And yeah, as you're about to see, now shit really hits the fan. I immediately see that it's a Gardevoir. I swap, but the charm damage connects. I could have Sludge Bombed, but they would probably just have shielded, and Mightyena went down in, what, was that 4 hits, I think? So, that was just not ideal. We couldn't really know that he would have a shot at Gardevoir, but it was rough for this line when Muck was already out of the picture. But yeah, really well played. That caught me off guard, but hopefully we caught some people off guard with Mightyena and Muck as well. Personally, I have not seen anyone use either of those in more than a year. I think that I've seen 1 Muck during Kanto Cup at one point, but that's about it, aside from a Alolan Muck, obviously. But yeah, that was a little showcase of my boy Mightyena here. Definitely not a lot of bulk. Questionable to bring it, because if you want a Dark type, you have better options. Mandibuzz, Umbreon, and such. It does have a versatile moveset though. So, if you just need like a budget option to both surprise your opponent, but also just fill some niche with type coverage in your team, you can definitely give it a shot. As you saw here, we went 3-5 with what I myself would call a questionable team. But yeah, here we have our first little theme team with like rocket grunts, I guess. Villain theme, underdogs. I guess all of them fit well. So if you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe down here somewhere. Like, drop me a comment. I'd really like some feedback if you don't mind. Different music. Get that webcam out of here. Shorten your intro. Whatever. Like, if there's something, just tell me. Anyway, I hope you have a nice day and take care.